Taking my walk in Cypress today, carrying my birding camera, just in case some air show performers from the Huntington Beach Air Show show up. Cypress is under the landing pad for Los Alamitos, which is where they're using as a temporary base for some of the air show performers. So let's see if anything shows up. We just had a Navy F-18 flyover. I've been taking pictures of aircraft for so long, it's almost automatic. Just grabbed my camera and started shooting. Got some still images of it, and then luckily I knew it was going to come around for a landing, so I got some videos of it landing. So I guess it pays to practice. Plus, having spent so many years as a flight test photographer helps too, I guess. Just today we had a P-51, a Raptor, and an F-18 just fly overhead. And all I was expecting was maybe some interesting helicopter to come over. So, all in all, not a bad walk. Got my steps in earlier this morning, so it frees me up this afternoon to see if I can hang out here in Cypress and get some more videos and stills of the air show aircrafts returning to Los Alamitos. Today's tally was 2 F-18 Growlers, the electronic warfare version of the F-18 Super Hornet, and 2 F-35Cs, the Navy version of the stealth attack aircraft. So not bad at all. We're gonna check out the KC-46 aerial tanker. The KC-46 is kind of unique in that, unlike the KC-135s or the KC-10s, it doesn't have a window in the back for the boom operator. The boom operator is actually forward with the rest of the flight crew using cameras instead of the Mark 1 eyeball.
I miss it. I miss the window. I miss the boom and the controls.
Yeah, I heard they kind of mixed and matched all the instrumentation.
Yeah, which is why, they kind of mixed and matched. So I think the FAA doesn't know, how to treat it as far as the type rating goes. But it's a 767, through and through. It's just got a boom on it, so. Is this for a manual extension? Yeah, no thrust reversers though. But
oh, that's going to be fun in the rain.
Yeah. It's funny because we're in the reserve, so we have the airline guys come in, and they're always like, once they land, they're ready to pull the thrust reversers, and then they're like, oh wait, shoot, we don't have it. So
you're going to eat up the brakes, okay?
Yeah, I guess they, I don't know. Apparently, it's supposed to be cheaper. We'll see.
Yep, and that was the KC-46. It's really cool being able to go into the cockpit, talk with the pilot a bit. I'm in Weatherford, Oklahoma today, getting some steps in near the Stratford Air and Space Museum. The Stratford Museum commemorates astronaut Thomas Stratford, who flew on Gemini and Apollo missions. The main reason I decided to get some steps in at the museum is that they have an F-117. The first time I've ever seen a F-117 fly was back at Edwards Air Force Base back in the 90s. In fact, it was just before Desert Storm that I saw one of these do a low flyby past the base. Most people remember the Apollo program as the one that landed Armstrong on the moon. Me, I remember it because it got Snoopy to the moon. Yes, that Snoopy. Stratford had actually named the lunar module that was used in that particular mission, Snoopy. And the command module was named Charlie Brown. Got my steps in and got to enjoy a wonderful Air and Space Museum here in Weatherford, Oklahoma. Getting my morning walk in at Slate Creek in Wellington, Kansas, walking amongst all the migrating Canada geese. The temperature's in the 20s right now, and the water falling off the dam has made a natural snowman right on the rocks there. We're now at Wellington Lake, checking out some of the birds. Just like at Slate Creek, there's a lot of different birds migrating through the area. This is also near the former site of Titan II ICBM launch sites that were administered by McConnell Air Force Base up in Wichita, and the actual launch sites were spread out across the state, 3 of which are near here. In fact, we can still see the remnants of one of the sites, some concrete base. Titan IIs were in service from the early 60s to the mid 80s. Today I'm taking my morning walk at the March Field Air Museum, right next to March Air Force Base. One of the reasons for taking my walk here in Riverside at the museum is to take a nostalgic look at some of the equipment I used to use back in my flight test days. The cameras on display are similar to the ones that I used to use while I was a photographic specialist and flight test photographer at Northrop. I used to carry this particular camera on the flight line of the B-2 bomber. It was the first integrated use of digital photography in aerospace, and I'm quite proud of the fact that I actually helped install a couple of these digital photo labs, one at the Northrop B-2 division and the other one at the south base of Edwards Air Force Base, which was a pretty secret place back then. Well, that was a neat way to end my morning walk here at the March Field Air Museum. I watched a UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle, do touch and goes and flybys at March Air Force Base, right next to it. Really neat way to end my walk. Getting my morning walk in Balboa Park in San Diego this morning. It's been a while since I've been here, so I'm going to take a good look to see what's around. Well, this is new. I didn't know there was a Comic-Con museum. So this is the superhero exhibit in the Comic-Con museum. I like how they're going through some of the origins of the present characters by using the ancient characters that they were based on. They even have an exhibit on cosplay, which is pretty awesome. Back when I was in college, I remember a sci-fi convention I went to, and it was the first place I ever saw people doing cosplay. They had people dressed in Star Wars and Star Trek outfits, even Battlestar Galactica, which was big when I was in college. But none of this stuff was as elaborate as what I'm looking at right now. It's a shame that this exhibit's only temporary. I think it goes away in February of next year or so. But I'm glad I made it here. I'm taking my morning walk this morning at Irvine Regional Park. Yes, I am walking behind a peacock. Kind of pacing him, actually. The park was actually dedicated in 1897 which explains why there's a Spanish-American War memorial. The park has a plaque dedicated to the 7th California Volunteer Infantry, USS Maine, destroyed in Havana Harbor, February 15, 1898. This tablet is cast from metal recovered from the USS Maine. And I'm going to continue my walk in the Orange County Zoo. My favorite reason for walking the zoo is that they have a couple of neat mountain lions and a really cool jaguar or black panther. Wow, that's the first time I've ever heard that jaguar vocalize. Pretty impressive. Cannons, peacocks, and lions. It was an interesting walk today. Taking a walk around the Autry Museum this morning. What would a museum about the Old West be without a stuffed buffalo? And of course the main transportation back then for civilians, a stagecoach. This one happens to be from the California Stage Company. I guess they considered the routes pretty dangerous back then because each passenger was issued a pocket Colt revolver for protection. This is a indigenous take on sci-fi, more specifically Star Wars. It's actually quite creative, especially sand people. And they even have a indigenous Yoda.
The way we see the West portrayed in stories influences our sense of what and where the West is.
And that was a look at the Autry Museum. This morning we're taking our walk at the Santa Ana Zoo. They're doing a lot of construction right now. And according to the sign, it looks like it's going to have a few giant otters. We're going to check out the aviary, Colors of the Amazon. I always like aviaries because you can get up close and personal with the critters. Can't come down to Santa Ana without checking out my favorite animal at this zoo, which is the giant anteater. This anteater has personality. Just watch its behavior. Likes to claw at the wall of the house. And at my midpoint of my walk here at the Santa Ana Zoo, I always like to visit the bald eagle. So this bald eagle is named Spirit. He's non-releasable because he has a partial wing amputation. The zoo also has a domestic animal area. And we have goats.
It's kind of like the same, but...
Hello. Oh, do you just want the company? And that was a walk around the Santa Ana Zoo. This morning I'm at the Lyon's Air Museum, checking out a type of aircraft that's near and dear to my heart, specifically a B-17. The reason that I'm so interested in the B-17 is that my elementary school teacher was a radio operator on a B-17 based out of England during World War II. He used to tell me a lot of stories about his time there, most of the fun ones. I was actually fortunate enough to fly a few times in a B-17. The thing that stands out in my mind about flying in one of these was that The drone of the 4 radio engines was quite unique, and the smell of engine oil permeated the entire fuselage. Was that to get to the cockpit, you had to go across this little walkway in between all the bombs to get to where the pilot was. And in flight, it was quite a unique experience. And that was the Lyon's Air Museum here next to the John Wayne Airport with the B-17 fuddy-duddy behind me. This morning we're doing a Christmas bird walk at Bolsa, Chica, Wetlands. Foraging pelicans using their dive bombing technique is always entertaining to watch. Yeah, I can remember when this area was called Tin Can Beach, and basically this was the swamp next to the oil derricks. They did a pretty darn good job cleaning up and making it wildlife friendly. So, guess I'm gonna take my hat off to California. You did a good job. The burrowing owl's out today, so kind of cute. You can tell which is his favorite rock. Lots of poop on it. Well, that was a nice little Christmas present this morning. A cute little burrowing owl here at the wetlands. Between the foraging pelicans and the little burrowing owl, it's been a pretty entertaining walk along the wetlands. And by the time I get back to my car, I should have 10,000 steps in, so it was a good morning.